All right, so what we're going to do today is illustrate some features in SketchUp that can help you do much more complex geometry. And I've got my default template already set, so I'm going to go ahead and start using SketchUp here. Get into our program, and once it comes up, we're sitting at our origin point. So we're going to look at a table leg that's going to have a detail all the way around it, a little notch cutter all the way around it, and a rounded base. So I'm going to show you a tool in SketchUp called Follow Me. It's very useful for doing stuff like that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with a rectangle, and we're going to start a 3x3 square. So I'll pull my square the way I want it to go. I'll hit the tab button, and I'll put in 3, 3, and now I've got my 3x3 square. Obviously, I'm going to have to zoom in on it, but before I do that, I'll come over to my push-pull tool and grab that and extrude my table leg up. Let's hit my tab button again. Notice it goes down to the distance field down in the bottom right corner, turns white, and now I can input my distance. So I'll make the table leg, let's say, 36 inches tall. So now I got my rough shape. All right, now to use the follow me command, you've got to first have the field defined that you want to push or pull. So extrude or retract, I guess, in SketchUp terms, and then you've got to have a path. So first off, we're going to draw a profile of what we want cut off. To do that, I'm going to come over to my camera view, and I'm going to use standard views. I'm going to go to my front so I can get, excuse me, a good square front view that I can draw on here. And I'll start off with drawing a line straight up and tab it over and make it, let's say, 4 inches off the ground. All right, now that line's pretty much useless as far as drawing geometry. I'm not really doing anything with it, but what I am doing with it is giving myself a good endpoint to snap to so I can have my notch up off the ground the amount I want. So there's my endpoint. That's 4 inches off the ground. We can see the length over there. I'm going to start drawing my notch now, and I'll click and pull my line over, hit my tab button again here, and I'll make my depth, let's say 3/8 of an inch. Okay, then I'll pull up from that, and let's say we'll make that length 1/2 an inch tall, and then I'll pull that back over. And notice I'm getting the red point that's showing it's on the edge there. And there's my geometry for the notch. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing for the little arc on the bottom of the leg. And I'll start down here, and I'll draw my line up, oh heck, let's just say 1.5 inches. All right. So there's my end point for that second line, 1.5 inches up. So I'm going to draw another line this way, so I'll have something to snap onto. And yeah, 3/8 looks good. So let's go ahead and draw my line 3/8. All right, now I'm going to come up here and use my arc tool and zoom in just a little bit. I'll start my arc tool right here on that dot and pull up, there we go, to my my 1.5 line, and then I'll pull my arc down. It looks pretty good. Tangent at vertex. That's going to snap to where it doesn't stick out of my geometry, and I'll go ahead and use that. Okay, so there's my cross section of what I want taken off. Now I'm going to come back over and I'm going to go orbit my object again, and something I found useful when drawing these lines out is taking my view, going to face style, and do X-ray on the face style so I can see all 4 planes. Okay, so now you've got your cross sections here, and so you've got your geometries that you can push or pull in as you need to. But that only allows you to push or pull one way. So we could take that one and push it all the way in, and then we'd have to come and draw another one over here and push it, and then we'd start getting errors where we're starting to run into each other over here, and it's too big of a pain in the rear to go all the way around it that way. But what we're going to use is this follow me tool. Before we use that, we have to actually draw the path that we want. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our line tool and start on the end point right here and draw it straight back. Now remember, as you draw, if that line that you're doing changes color, then that means that you're running parallel with that particular axis. So the green is exactly what I want because it's running the direction of this plane. So I'll use my line right there, and I'll finish my line from here, and I'll come across, and I want that one to be red, just like the axis that we're drawing on. I'll come across here. That one is green, and then we'll come back across. Whoop. And we'll come back across, and we'll make that one red. Okay, so now I have my path. Whoop. Well, I don't guess I have my path right there. Let's make that one red. Now I have my path all the way across it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing right down here. I'm going to pick the end point of the arc, and I'm going to draw, and I'm going to draw, and I'm going to draw, and I'm going to draw. Okay, so now I've got that chosen here. Now we use this cool little thing right here under Tools and Follow Me. Okay, so the first thing you do is you pick what region you want to manipulate. In this case, I'll start right here, and I'll pick my little notch, and then you drag it which way you want it to go. So I'll drag it down that line, and while I'm at it, I'll continue and drag it down that line, drag it down that line, and then drag it down that line all the way to the end, and then left click. We'll come down here to this little round over down here, click on it, come up and drag it right down that line, drag it right down that, whoop, you got to be careful on that, drag it right down that line, drag it right down that line, and then drag it right down the front line, come all the way to the end, left click. Now we can come back out, change our face style back to take the X-ray off, and we'll see that we've got a rounded over leg. One thing that is kind of weird that I've noticed happens is this little plane right there goes away. So you don't really, it's like you're looking at a hollow one. What I've done to correct that before is just come in here with a rectangle tool, snap on one point, pull over to the other, and once you do that, then your leg is solid again. So I hope that helped, and wait for the next installment on SketchUp with Lee. Thank you.